traditional grading, I can kind of put it into two subjects. You've got traditional grading and then you've got equitable grading. So in a traditional grading system, you might get a 0 for not turning in your work. No work equals no grade. But in an equitable grading system, maybe they just say, no, we're not going to give zeros. Zeros don't exist. If you don't turn your work in, the minimum you can make is a 50%. And I'm not saying this is the case in all equitable grading systems, but these are kind of the examples that we see. Or there's no deadlines, so there's no penalties for late work. You can just kind of turn in your assignment whenever you want. Or unlimited revisions or retakes. You can just keep retaking your test until you reach a certain grade, which I think in theory sounds like a huge headache for teachers. And then, sometimes teachers will consider things like participation, behavior, that might factor into a grade. What is your presence like in the classroom? That might be considered racist, and you can't do that. And it's really kind of an inflated grading system in the sense of if you don't turn in your work, but you still get a 50, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. So the premise behind it is kind of this social justice vibe, I guess you could say, of like, anything that's traditionally graded is racist or biased. So this is kind of an anti-racist approach where, unequal outcomes equals oppression. And so it's not mastery of the subject, it's equalizing results. And I think what I've pointed to a lot of times in these instances is that ultimately, I mean, in theory, unless our whole society adopts something like this will catch up to students. So this is not beneficial to them. Like the real world eventually catches up to you, and if you get into college based on, a false sense of mastery of, your physics class in high school and you are an engineering major in college, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to keep up. If you weren't tested in high school, you don't have those foundations, those basics. And if not in college, then eventually in the workforce. So
Not engineering. You could probably go into HR and get away with it. But
and I
we'll
mean,
see.
you also don't want inept people. It doesn't matter their skin color. That doesn't matter. Nobody's talking, like nobody cares about that. What we care about is if you're my doctor, can you treat me? Are you qualified to treat me? If you're building the building I'm in right now, are you able to make sure it doesn't fall over? I mean,
Yeah.
I know it sounds dramatic, but I think it's
No, I think you're
more
onto
important than
something.
people realize.